Hello. Today what we're going to do is look at the metric system, and we're going to look at specifically different prefixes. Okay? So the first one that we're going to look at the meter. Now what we're going to do with the meter is we're going to look at prefixes that go along with different units. Remember that 1 meter is approximately 3 feet. Okay? So let's go with that. Now, there are times when the measurements that we want to do are larger or smaller than the base unit, which is a meter. Okay, let's say that we want to do larger. Let's say that we want to look at things that are thousands of meters. So we can use what is called a kilometer or a kilometer. Okay? So a kilometer is 1,000 meters. All right? So if we got a measurement as thousands of meters, we could use a kilometer. Now, if on the other hand, we go even further up, we can use a measurement that is 1,000,000 meters, and that is called a megameter. Okay? But you will not be responsible for knowing the megameter. Alright, so let's go with measurements that are smaller than a meter. First one that we're going to talk about is 1/10 of a meter, and that is a decimeter. All right. Remember that anytime you see DEC, that means a factor of 10. Okay. So in this case, it means a tenth. If we go 10 times less than that to 100th of a meter, that is 1 centimeter. Okay. Now, anytime you see the prefix cent, that means 100 or 100th. Okay, 1 cent is 100th of a meter. 1 cent is 100th of a dollar. Okay, century is 100 years. In this case, however, let's concentrate on the fact that it's a cent, 100th of a dollar. 1,000th of a meter is 1 millimeter. Okay? There used to be a coin called a mill, and it was 1,000th of a dollar. That's also where we get the word millage, tax, because the tax is based on a mill. Now, the next one that we want to talk about is a millionth of a meter, and that's for extremely small measurements on the order of a cell, and that would be 1 micrometer. Okay? So, we can use prefixes to go for very large measurements like megameter or kilometer, or for very small measurements like, for example, the millimeter or the micrometer. Now, one misconception that people have is that this only pertains to the meter, liter, and gram. And that is not correct. Okay? These prefixes are the same for any type of measurement, such as there's a unit called a bell, and it measures loudness. All right? Now, according to what we know, 1,000 bells is what? 1 kilobell. Okay? And if you're listening to anything that has a kilobell, it will kill you. All right. So let's go to the measurements that are smaller than 1 bell. 1/10 of a bell is 1 decibel. Okay? 100th of a bell is 1 centibel. 1/1000th of a bell is 1 millibell. Okay? And then we're going to just write 10 to the 6th. That's just what we did with the millionth of a bell is 1 microbell. Now, it is interesting that on bells, on the system measuring loudness, it is not the bell that is the most common unit, but it is actually the decibel. We mainly do measurements in decibels instead of bells because they give us the best numbers that we can use. Okay? So sometimes we do not use the base unit, but we use one of the prefix units. Okay? All right. One last example, watts. Watts is a unit of power. That is the amount of energy used per time. Again, 1,000 watts is 1 kilowatt. Okay? 1/10 of a watt is 1 deciwatt. 1/100th of a watt is 1 centiwatt. 1,000th of a watt is what? 1 milliwatt. And then 10 to the minus 6, which is a millionth of a watt, is 1 microwatt. Again, in this time, for watts, the most common one is the kilowatt. All right? So kilowatts are more commonly used than, let's say, decawatts or centawatts. There's one last thing that I want to talk about, and that is abbreviations. Let's go back to the bells. Okay? So we have a kilobell. What we would do to abbreviate that is a little k, B-E-L, for kilobell. Then if we had a decibel, we put D, little d, B-E-L. For centibel, little c, B-E-L. Millibel, we put little m, B-E-L. Now for micro, we do have a problem. Because megabell uses the capital M, we have already used the capital M and the little m, so we run out of m's. So what we do is use a Greek letter M, which is like this. You make a slash and then a U. And this is called mu. Okay, like this. Now, when we were using typewriters, this unit, this symbol was very difficult to make. Now with computers, it's not. So sometimes you'll see MC instead of the letter mu. Okay? So these are, except for the mega, are the units that you are expected to know for this class. These are the ones you're most likely to use in your profession. Now, next time we will talk about conversions, and we will also show you how to do them. Thank you and have a great day.